I know social anxiety can really be a bitch. It can be especially hard to understand that. Do you want some conversation practice? You're watching Mixie ASMR. Sweet dreams. Oh, hi, sweetheart. What's up? I thought you were at that social gathering. Why are you home early? I thought it ended a couple hours from now. Oh, honey. I understand. Come here. Come here. It's okay. Mommy's got you. It's okay. Mommy's got you. It's okay. You're having a little bit of trouble with social anxiety, sweetheart. I understand. I really do. First things first, what were you most scared of whenever you were at that party? Mm-hmm. And why did that scare you? I'm gonna try and get to the bottom of this real quick. I never knew you had social anxiety. Is that really what the root cause of this is? I know social anxiety can really be a bitch. I get it. But there are methods that you can learn to slowly overcome your social anxiety, sweetheart. The method that worked for me, because believe it or not, your good old mother used to have social anxiety. The method that worked for me is by, first of all, the first tip I can give you is try and start in a small group. So start with just one or two people maybe, and make sure that you're in like this little circle and just hang out with those one or two people at first and really just hang out and get to know them. And over time, as you get to know them better, you build friendships and relationships with these people. And then after that, you can see how you feel about these couple of people. And whenever you are used to being with a couple people at a time, then you go on and you add a third or fourth in a little bit of a more busy setting. So maybe you hang out with these 3 or 4 people at a arcade or at a restaurant or somewhere that just has more people, so that you can slowly begin to develop the sense that even though there are people around, you are with people that you are comfortable with. You're with your little group. You're with your little posse. I know I sound old saying that, but I don't even know how old I am at this point. Cat years are just so weird. But over time, you'll begin to develop this sense of understanding that not all people are inherently bad. And that will allow you to slowly open up your borders and you'll be able to let more people in. What I would recommend is you would go to somewhere like a restaurant or a cafe where not only are you forced to talk to the people you went with, but you're also forced to talk to the cashier or the person ringing you out or the barista or anything like that. Whenever you are forced to interact with someone, it makes you have to have a conversation with someone. I found that the best way to overcome social anxiety is by making small talk with cashiers, with baristas, with people you know you will never see again. You can practice your little conversations with them, and that will help you get better at talking to people. Maybe you won't be able to find common ground with the cashier, but maybe you will. Maybe you'll be able to strike up a conversation and be like, hey, and the cashier's like, hi, and then you just ask like simple questions like, how's the weather going? And the cashier is like, oh, to me, I think it was actually pretty nice outside today. It was in like 75, and you're like, oh yeah, I think it was actually pretty nice as well, but I think some clouds are moving into the area now. And the cashier is like, yeah, I heard it was supposed to rain. And then you ask a question typically to try and, your goal is to further the conversation. So you say like, oh, there's clouds moving in, is it going to rain, do you know? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to ask any questions that would attack the cashier directly. So you don't want to say like, are you sure it's going to rain, or anything like that. Maybe you would say something like, oh, it's supposed to rain, that's interesting, I didn't know that. And then maybe the cashier says something like, yeah, it's supposed to rain, but kind of happy I'm inside. And then maybe you can be like, I really like it inside. Honesty is usually the best policy. Now the cashier may say like, oh, I understand. I also have learned that talking can be a little bit rough, but you want to try and find that common base with someone. You want to try and ask the leading questions that kind of further a conversation. And maybe you can even use those skills that you learned in a more public setting, like at a restaurant, as I said. Maybe you're forced to ask the waiter questions. Maybe you ask him or her what the specials are, and they say like, oh, our specials are X, X, and X, and you say, oh, that's very interesting. What would you recommend? You want to try not to seem nervous over time. Maybe you'll seem nervous at first trying to make conversation, but try and think of like leading questions. And you can always start alone. It can always be one-on-one, you and a cashier, you and a barista, you and someone else. And you can try and build off of what they're saying. Try and seem interested even if you actually aren't in the conversation. Because learning to talk about uninteresting topics is probably one of the most vital skills in communication. So if you just talk about it, it will make the other person want to open up more to you. Be like, oh, they really care about my interests. That's really interesting. And then maybe they ask questions about you, and then that furthers your conversational skills. Now, once you've mastered one-on-one, then maybe you move to, maybe you're talking with a couple people, and now you're in a group of 3. Say like you're a group of 3 people, you've just met. Slowly introduce yourself into more and more crowded situations, but take it very, very slow, introducing 1 or 2 people at a time. Talking in a group is a lot different than talking one-on-one. Now, what I can say is talking in a group is a very, very good skill to know, especially if you plan on going to like any kind of business or any kind of meetings or anything like that, because these conferences are going to require you to talk. They're going to require you to share your ideas, and it's a very good skill to know how to talk to people. So you should quickly try and overcome social anxiety as young as possible. And I know that you're such a good floof, and I know that you're able to learn these things. You've taken so much of my advice so well, and I'm just so very proud of you. Now, you just have to slowly build up your conversation skills, one-on-one, then one-on-two, and then one-on-three, and then you just have to keep building your way up. And then if you choose to go into a bigger setting, try and keep your close circle of friends with you, because if all goes wrong, you'll always have those friends to fall back on. You'd be able to just move your entire situation to a corner of the room, and you can just talk amongst yourselves. You can be like, okay, why were we not able to talk? It can also really help to bring along someone who is really extroverted, someone who is well-versed, someone who can kind of push you outside of your comfort zone. One thing I will tell you is, without help, it is very, very, very hard to get outside of your comfort zone. So sometimes you just need that person egging you on. Now, I do get that that's not the easiest skill. And I do understand that with your social anxiety, it can be especially hard to understand that. But I do know that you are capable of anything you put your mind to. I've seen you do a lot of more crazy things than just having to overcome social anxiety, sweetheart. However, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to work at it. And I will be with you every step of the way. Now, do you want some conversation practice? So we can start with just you and me one-on-one. Pretend, let's make a scenario like I am what do you think I should be? Okay, yeah, I can be a barista. So let's say I'm a barista at a coffee shop, and you walk in the door. Ding, ding, ding. Hi, welcome to Coffee Bucks. How can I help you today? And then what would you respond with? Maybe you could start by opening and saying, oh, I really like the layout of the store. I'll have this. Or you can even start, if you don't know what you want, like if it's a new store or something, you can start by saying, oh, let me just take a look at your menu. And then the person will be like, okay, no problem, take your time. What that does is that lets the cashier know that you are going to want to order something, but you just want to look at their menu. And then maybe you can even say, what would you recommend? Valuing someone's opinion is very, very, very important, even if you don't. So, say the cashier says something like, oh, I would recommend our white chocolate cinnamon mocha. It only has 350 calories and it is delicious. Trust me. My boss, Angelina, loves it. And then you can say something like, oh, that's really interesting. That sounds good. I think I'll try that. And then maybe she says the price. Be like, okay, that's going to be $11.47. And then, you may be able to comment like, oh, that's really expensive for some coffee. And then maybe she's like, yeah, I know prices can get pretty pricey around here, but our quality is absolutely premium. And then maybe you can say, like, yeah, I haven't really heard any bad reviews about this place, honestly, so I'll take your word for it. And then that lets you and the cashier establish a sense of trust. Like, you trust her to make you good coffee. You always want to start one-on-one. That is the most important thing that you can do. Start one-on-one so you can learn how to develop those conversational skills. If you feel a conversation is getting dry, just change the topic. Maybe say she had like a red and white pin on her apron. Maybe you can say something like, oh, I really like that pin. What does it represent? And then what you can do is you can basically say anything along the lines of like something that relates to that. And you've made her feel like she matters. That really is the foundation of good conversations. Making someone feel like they are loved, making someone feel like they're supported, making someone feel like you really care. And then she gives you your drink, and she's like, okay, have a great day, and we hope to see you at Coffee Bucks again. And then maybe you take a sip of the drink, and you're like, oh my god, this is absolutely delicious. I really was right about trusting you. And then maybe she's like, see, I would never steer you wrong. And then once you become comfortable with one-on-one conversation, maybe then you can move on to two-on-one. Maybe you're in a group of friends and you guys are going camping. Or maybe you're just with one friend and one stranger. Or maybe that friend is a friend of a friend. And you're trying to introduce him. Like your friend once says, like, hey, I want to introduce my friend to the area around here, and I also want to introduce him around to you. Then you have to make a connection with that person. With social anxiety, rather than trying to focus on talking to the entire group at once, which can be difficult for some, try and zero in on one or two specific people in that group that you would like to try and have a conversation with. It can be very hard to have conversations with people you don't know if you are shy or don't feel comfortable talking to them. Also, sweetheart, can you go grab mommy her purse? And then grab that little black bag out of it. My lips are really, really chapped, so I need some chapstick. Yeah. Alright. So, do you understand kind of like what I've been talking about? Does it kind of make a little bit more sense to you? As far as like the whole zeroing in on one or two specific people in the group. Because what you do not want to do is you do not want to just throw yourself into a group setting. Like if you're not comfortable with parties, you're not going to want to go to like some gathering. If you're comfortable with everyone in the group, it's going to be a lot easier to talk to them. And as you get used to talking to new people over time, it will be easier to talk to random strangers. And make those strangers into not strangers. Maybe make them into newfound friends that you can do things with. Now, sweetheart, I understand better than anyone that social anxiety sucks. Trust me, honey, I really, really do. So I really feel for you. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take my credit card. And I want you to go invite a couple of your friends out to go do something. Maybe just one or two. My credit card is free for use for you, honey. Now, I know I don't often say that, but maybe you can take that group of 2 or 3 people out to an arcade or something. Maybe you can find interests with the people around. But slowly over time, I want you to add on more people. And then eventually, you're just going to be able to join any kind of group and just instantly be able to start talking. It is easier to talk to people who have the same interests as you, so you probably want to start with that. And then over time, you can kind of elevate yourself to be able to talk to people who do not have the same interests as you. So yeah, take mommy's credit card and go have some fun, sweetheart. Did my advice help you at all? Alright, honey. I love you very, very, very much. You are going to do so good. I promise you, sweetheart. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. You're going to be able to overcome this terrible social anxiety. Now, before you go, there is one more thing that I want to do. All I want to do is just freshen you up a bit. You're gonna look so, so good. Okay. I'm gonna write a note for you that basically says you're free to use my credit card. Alright. I've written the card for you. It basically says, okay, you're free to use my credit card. It was not stolen. And yeah, if there's any kind of like fraud alert, because the bank I bank with is, well, they're a little bit strict about fraud. So, go ahead and just take this note. can go ahead and fold it up for you so it'll fit nice and easy in your pocket. And there you go, sweetheart. Look, I know that you're gonna do great, okay? Do you want to sip? Oh, trust me, it's Mommy's favorite concoction. You'll be fine. There's no kind of... It's not the spicy variety that I make sometimes. It's not that, don't worry. It's completely kosher. Here, try some. Alright. Now you go have fun, you crazy kid. I love you so, so much. Come give Mommy a hug. You're gonna do so good, I promise. You're gonna do so good. Now, when you get back, I want to hear all about it, okay? My only stipulation to using my credit card. You can get whatever you want, okay? I'm not that worried about it. Alright, honey, go have fun. I love you. Bye-bye. A very, very special thanks to my Ultramints, Golden, Kane, Freya, Karu, Polly Sweet Paul, Anjet Fox, and Destiny, and my mystical mints, Jonah and Riddler Rooster. Thank you so much for the continued support.